Every person in the United States should watch that footage, see that reality, and watch it again. This is what the coordinated mob was doing. It wasn't one person or two. It wasn't a fringe group within the crowd. It was the main activity among a large crowd assembled outside. Now, some people did yell out not to hurt the officer, but the thrust of the crowd was trying to beat or kill an officer while chanting USA. Any moral person can easily condemn that. Any law-abiding patriot can condemn it. Now, think about Donald Trump and other Republican politicians, not all but many, who still won't plainly condemn this. Think about them anytime you see or think of this reality. That was one crime spree attack with violence. Reports indicate that particular officer escaped whatever else the rioters had in store for him while police fought back the mob in the struggle at that increasingly dangerous checkpoint. They were forced to put their own life and limbs in service to the blockade, these officers. And when the MAGA rioters saw that that was actually the case, they didn't stop. They didn't cease. You will see several ruthlessly attacking officers in the front of that line, while new tapes also record the crowd threatening the officers, telling them to stand down, and if they didn't, they would get hurt even more. This is some of the video first released by a media group, Status Coup, and then broadcast, as I mentioned, by our colleague Chris Hayes. A warning, this video is violent and graphic. That disturbing video sheds light on the tactics, on the cruelty, and legally on the coordinated criminal conspiracy. Now, this is significant. That's also just a moment from within 6 hours of violence and chaos. It's one moment where the up-close video evidence is actually available to us. Across 6 hours from when the crowd first breached the Capitol steps around 2 until police resecured the Capitol at 8 p.m. That incident of a single officer crushed by the mob was captured as part of a much longer video that is shot from inside, basically, the conspiracy mob view. It's from their vantage point, presenting about 30 minutes of the continuous and coordinated attack. And those 30 minutes comprise just roughly 8% of the grueling 6 hours of rioting on Wednesday that I mentioned. Investigators and prosecutors, they sift through these kind of videos in their entirety. They look for the full truth, not clips or not a viral moment. And sometimes more evidence can make things look very differently. Sometimes that can even be positive for the defendants. Other times it makes them look worse or more culpable or criminal, and that is the case for much of the emerging evidence here. If we are ever going to face what was actually done inside this insurrection, we do have to face and examine this in all of its horrific detail. Right at the outset, 2 minutes into this long video I mentioned, rioters initiate attacks on the police. They apparently spray mace at the officers. Other reports later found bear spray on the scene, which is actually more dangerous than the type of spray police are allowed to use. Then you can see rioters seizing a police body shield. They pull it out into the crowd. That's just minute 2 of this video. 4 minutes in, the crowd presses forward into the barricade of police. Some are holding poles. They chant USA again. They yell in order to coordinate these attacks, chanting use the shields and make a wall as they again advance criminally on the officers. That's just 5 minutes into this. Then they try to break through the line into the building, hitting officers with a pole and yelling for the mob to push. That continues. You see there in minute 7 all of that beating and attacking. By minute 9, 2 minutes later, you see officers partially able to pull some of those glass doors closed. The rioters then begin attacking with poles and shields, trying to pry those doors open again. By 12 minutes into the video, people are spraying apparently mace at the officers, and there's more conspiring among the group to break through with these chants of heave ho. That is just some of the 20 minutes out of the 6 hours. That last escalation led to the now infamous crushing of the officer you saw earlier. All of this, I want to be very clear with you tonight. There's a lot going on, but this is the crux of it. This insurrection, this violence, 4 years plus in the making. All of this is under a tenth of what transpired during the insurrection, which is increasingly looking far more organized and more legally sinister than it might have to a passing observer on TV or to someone who saw a little bit of it online last week. Hey, I'm Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.